Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm sharing a card that we have used just ink, card and stamp sets, and it's using a couple of colors that I kind of found on my workbench, which was Mary Merlot and Flirty Flamingo. And they spoke to me. So my card is featuring the Ranunculus Romance stamp set, which I have used before, and I think I shared the reason that I love this stamp set is the different types of element. We've got floral and leaves, but then we've also got this lovely little stamp with writing on it. There's a frank mark, there's this lovely banner here. So that's going to be our stamp set, and by using the different elements, although we've just used literally cards, ink and stamps, I think there's plenty of texture in the card using that particular stamp set in different ways. So let's make a start on what we've got. So I'm going to bring in a piece of paper to keep my work surface clear, and I'm going to start with some pieces of very vanilla cardstock. And my first stamp that I'm going to be using is the lovely one with the written on it. It says Scotch pearls, letting somebody or other silver you are. Anyway, it's not in a foreign language, so it's not that I'm going to be mystified about what it says. So I'm going to use a stamping off technique on this one. So basically that means I'm going to dip in my ink, and then I'm going to stamp off on my grid paper, and then I'm going to stamp a couple of times. And I've managed to get an overstamp there, and you see there, so I'm going to flip it over. That's why we have two sides to a piece of card. I'm going to stamp off, and I'm going to stamp, and can you see it's giving me a nice light stamp, and that means that when I come to stamp over that, my image will pop. So same here, stamp off, and I'm just going to stamp randomly, and I'm going to make sure that I leave a space down the bottom here for my greeting. Oh, I forgot to stamp off on that one, but it just shows you how what a difference that actually makes. Anyway, we're not going to freak out about that one. It just adds to the texture. So there's our starting point, and then I'm going to get the little stamp that looks like a franc for a stamp, and it's got the Eiffel Tower on it. So now I'm going to fill in some of my gaps. I'm going to go down here a little bit. Where else shall I go? That won't be seen, that will be covered. There. So now I've got those pieces. I'm going to put in my greeting. Now I'm using the same greeting as from the same stamp set for my greeting. This one says just for you, but there's also a thank you for sharing, just because, a hello. So you could make this card say pretty much whatever it is that you wanted to say. So there's my greeting, and now I've got that in place. I've got this little stamp here. I think this is also like franking a letter. I'm not quite sure what to call it, but anyway. So again, I'm going to catch and fill in my gaps, and I'm using Mary Merlot here, and as you can see, I'm just stamping randomly just to fill in the gaps. Now I'm just going to check something here. I think I need to put something in there. There. Now I'm going to use this, and this is the Ranunculus. This is the flower that gives the stamp set its name. And I'm inking that up with the Merry Merlot, and I'm just going to pop it as close to the middle as I can. And there we got that lovely sort of vintagey look coming through. Now I like to do my inside of my cards with a little bit of decoration. So this is a quarter sheet here. Well, not quite. It's 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to pop the Ranunculus in there. And also the envelope. I like to send decorated envelopes. I'll send my cards in decorated envelopes. And there we've got that there. And I think what I'm going to do is open up my ink again. Now this one is the Sahara Sand. And I think I am just going to put the Eiffel Tower on there as well. Like that. And I think I'm going to pop it at the top of my inside piece. I like to put a liner in my cards to write on. The cardstock that I'm using is Merry Merlot. It's quite dark, unless you've got like maybe a white, silver, maybe a gold pen that you could write with, but it makes it so much easier if you've just put in a little liner. So I've got my middle part here, inside part. Let's line that up. Let's get some space here. I've got my bone folder to just put that crease in. And then these 3 pieces I am going to line up. And I'm just going to attach those with some liquid. Now the card sizes I'm going to publish on my blog, and if you look below this video you'll see a link to my blog post, and you'll be able to get all the information you need there about the card sizes, scoring, as well as links to my online store, where you can go ahead and buy the supplies to make this card yourself. Now you could choose any color combination. As I say, this one was just a couple of scraps were sitting on my workbench, and I couldn't resist when I saw them. I thought it made such an unusual combination. So I've got my piece that I've stamped up randomly, and I'm attaching that to a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Flirty Flamingo, and this piece of vanilla is 5 by 3 3/4. And then we're going to stick it to the card front. Now any background noise you might just hear is actually the trash wagon coming round to pick up the trash today. So I've popped the some dimensionals on the back of my little set of squares, and I'm just going to pop that right in the middle like that. My final flourish is a pearl. I'm just going to pop one on, and that's going to go in the middle of this open flower there. And there we have a really quick, simple and very pretty card literally just using ink, paper and stamp sets. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this. I'd certainly welcome a thumbs up if you have, and if you don't already subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that too. And any comments you care to leave, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you and bye for now.